Why risk management is the foundation of every successful transaction. As we continue through Chapter 4, we now shift from structuring deals to protecting them. No matter how strong a contract is or how creative the structure may be, every transaction carries risk. The role of a commercial real estate professional is not to eliminate risk, that is impossible, but to identify it, manage it, and reduce exposure for all parties involved. This section ties directly to everything we have covered so far. From disclosures in Chapter 2 to timelines and enforcement in Chapter 3, risk is present at every stage. Now, we bring those elements together into a proactive strategy designed to protect the client and the agent. Under AAC R4 281101, licensees are required to exercise reasonable care, honesty, and disclosure. Risk management is not optional, it is a core part of professional conduct. Identifying risk, where problems begin. The first step in managing risk is recognizing where it exists. In commercial real estate, risks typically fall into several categories. Physical risks, such as structural issues or environmental contamination. Financial risks, including inaccurate income statements or unstable tenants' legal risks, such as zoning violations or title defects. Contractual risks, including missed deadlines or poorly drafted terms. For example, a buyer evaluating a retail center in Phoenix may rely on the seller's reported income. If those numbers are inaccurate, the buyer could overpay for the property. This is why verification is critical. ADRA Substantive Policy Statement, 2005. 3 emphasizes that agents should recommend expert assistance when dealing with technical matters. Disclosure as risk prevention. Not just a requirement, disclosure is often viewed as a legal obligation, but it is also one of the most effective risk management tools available. Proper disclosure reduces the likelihood of disputes and protects all parties involved. The principles established in Hill v. Jones reinforce that failure to disclose known material defects can lead to liability. This applies even in commercial transactions where buyers are expected to conduct due diligence. For example, if a seller knows that a property has ongoing plumbing issues and fails to disclose this information, the risk does not disappear after closing, it increases. Agents must ensure that disclosures are complete, accurate, and delivered in a timely manner. Documentation, your best defense. In real estate, if it is not documented, it did not happen. Documentation is one of the most powerful tools for managing risk and protecting against disputes. This includes emails and written communications, signed disclosures and addenda, inspection reports and expert opinions, transaction timelines and notices. Under ARS paragraph 32-2151.01, brokers are required to maintain transaction records. These records can become critical if a dispute arises months or even years after closing. For example, if a buyer claims they were not informed of a material issue, documented evidence of disclosure can protect the agent from liability. Compliance with Arizona law, staying within the lines. Compliance is a key component of risk management. Agents must operate within the framework of Arizona statutes and administrative rules. Key regulations include AAC, R4 281101, Professional Conduct and Duties, AAC, R4 281103, Broker Supervision, ARS, Paragraph 32-2153, Grounds for Discipline, ARS, Paragraph 44-1001, Statute of Frauds. For example, failing to put agreements in writing as required under the Statute of Frauds can render a contract unenforceable and create significant legal risk. Staying compliant is not just about avoiding penalties, it is about maintaining credibility and professionalism. Managing client expectations, preventing problems before they start. One of the most overlooked aspects of risk management is communication. Many disputes arise not because of legal issues, but because of misunderstandings. Agents must clearly explain contract timelines and deadlines, risks associated with contingencies, potential outcomes of negotiation decisions, responsibilities of each party. For example, if a buyer does not understand the consequences of missing a due diligence deadline, they may later blame the agent for the loss of earnest money. Clear communication reduces confusion and builds trust. Red flags. Knowing when to slow down. Experienced agents learn to recognize warning signs that indicate increased risk. Common red flags include incomplete or inconsistent financial records, reluctance to provide disclosures, unusual contract terms or last-minute changes, pressure to rush through due diligence. For example, if a seller is unwilling to provide financial documentation for a commercial property, this should raise immediate concerns. Recognizing these signs allows agents to take proactive steps, such as requesting additional information or recommending expert review. Real-world scenario: risk avoided through proper process. Consider a buyer interested in a multi-tenant property in Tempe. The seller provides financial statements showing strong income, but the agent notices inconsistencies in the numbers. The agent recommends a detailed financial review by an accountant. The review reveals that several tenants are behind on rent, significantly reducing the property's actual income. Because of this discovery, the buyer renegotiates the purchase price and avoids overpaying. This example shows how identifying and managing risk can directly impact the success of a transaction. Agent protection: protecting your license and reputation. Risk management is not just about protecting the client, it is also about protecting the agent. Violations of AAC R428-1101 or ARS, paragraph 32-153, can result in disciplinary action, fines, or even license suspension. By following best practices, disclosing information, documenting actions, and recommending expert advice, agents reduce their exposure to liability. Professionalism and consistency are the keys to long-term success in commercial real estate. Connecting risk management to advanced strategy. This section ties together everything we have learned in Chapter 4. Negotiation and structuring create opportunities, but risk management ensures those opportunities are protected. As we move into the final section of this chapter, we will focus on bringing all strategies together, combining negotiation, structuring, and risk management into a complete and professional approach to commercial real estate transactions. Online discussion. Why is risk management essential in commercial real estate? Answer: because every transaction involves potential risks, and managing those risks protects both the client and the agent from financial loss and legal liability. How does proper documentation protect an agent? Answer: documentation provides evidence that disclosures were made and obligations were fulfilled, which can be critical in defending against claims or disputes. What is an example of a red flag in a commercial transaction? Answer: inconsistent financial records or a seller's reluctance to provide disclosures are common red flags that indicate increased risk.